Hey everybody, Aaron Blaise here, and I'm super excited to let you know that I've got a brand new course coming out on my website, creatureartteacher.com. I've been putting together a course over the last several weeks on creature design, which is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun taking my knowledge of real world creatures, bending them up a little bit, and creating new creatures that have never lived before. In this course, I'm going to take you through regular world anatomy with four-legged creatures, mammals, hoofed animals, carnivores, herbivores, predators, and that sort of thing. I'm also going to take you through bird anatomy. I take you through insect anatomy. And so I want you to understand the basis for real world animals so that then we can go and we can take all of that learning that I show you and we can morph them into new animals. With the four-legged animals, I teach you the 6 sections of the animal that we can distort and change shape and come up with new creatures. And once again, we're going to talk about anatomy. We're going to talk about bone structure, musculature, and then I also talk about texturing, how to texture your images in Photoshop or any other digital medium that you might be using with photo bashing. And then we're also going to include hippo skin textures that we're going to use to create some creatures. And then you can make your own textures along the way as well. So it's really cool. Go on over to Creature Art Teacher right now because it's available for pre-order at 50% off. And in the meantime, I want you to enjoy this sneak peek on how to design your creature through silhouette. Thanks a lot. Go out, put some beauty back in the world, and I'll talk to you next time. Thanks. Okay, so now that you have an understanding of bird anatomy, let's take that knowledge and try creating a creature. I'd like to do like a kind of a dragon type creature. Let's see, feathered, because I just went over feathers with you. Bat wings and mammal wings are completely different. Well, they're not completely different, but they are a little different in the way they work, and I'll go over that on another video. But why don't we start with, let's do some silhouettes first, just to come up with an idea. I want it to be four-legged. But I also need that muscle to attach. Big feathered tail. Hollow bones, it would have hollow bones. Maybe a little thinner neck. Oh, I'm drawing right on the background. Let's do this. If you ever draw in your background, if you're doing like what I'm doing, you can do this. I'm gonna do color select, color range. I'm gonna hit OK and then hit X. Yes, there we go. And then I'm gonna create a layer in between and color it in. That's what I've just done here. Combine the background layer with the new layer. Layer, merge layers. And now I have got this completely separated. So now I can go back to my dragon character. Kind of like the simple little arms up front. Elbows here. Just these little arms. Something about that I like. That's not too bad. We got feathers in here. That's kind of interesting. It's always fun to do the silhouettes first. Let's shrink that guy up. Let's just put that off to the side. Let's see here. Maybe we've got one that's calling out. Whoops. Got to put that on another level. That's okay. All right, let's see here. Oops. Let's do this. Here, I'm thinking about what it might look like flying. That's kind of interesting. Makes for a good silhouette. There's that alula right there, that thumb, this piece right here. That's called an alula. Feathers. It's the group. This feels like it could be a dinosaur that lived back in the day, doesn't it? We'll get that keel coming down right here. Might even move the front arms if we want those muscles to be realistic. Maybe we move his front arms here. And get more of the keel in there. That's interesting. Yeah. Now we're getting somewhere. Put that elbow in there. There. I like that. I like seeing them in action. Put that right there. We're exploring, trying to find a good shape, good silhouette. Let's see here. What if we had one? This is where the silhouette might get a little weird. Had one coming more at us. so. We got a tail out here. That was not as clear. I'm not liking that silhouette as much. Obviously, it's not silhouette. It's because it's coming towards us. But it's still, I'm not, it doesn't feel as dynamic to me. Even though they don't feel dynamic, I'll tend to keep them just to, they might spark an idea later on. This one I'm still liking quite a bit. The one with the mouth open. Yeah. This one, the wing is coming towards us a little bit. Trying different things. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. A lot of my creature design is doing just this. I'm just searching for shape, anything that might feel dynamic. There we go. There's something there. Not quite as excited about that one either. But once again, I want you to see the process. I'm going to keep it so we can have a page of them. Get into this habit. Do this. You'll find that your designs will be better for it. Let's turn these off right now. So I want to go a little bigger. I want to do a variation off that one that's calling out. There we go. Yeah, I can feel this one already is going to be better. Feathers. Let's get this in here. There we go. big. There's our rib cage. There we go. Let's do this with the arms. There we go. I'm liking these shapes. I'm liking this silhouette a little bit. See what we come up with here. We can make some more sense of these feathers if we render it. You know what? I'm going to change these arms again. I'm liking this. I like this shape going into that keel for this wing, for these wings. Maybe have the arms out like so. Still don't like it. Just can't seem to find the right thing for the arms here. I love this shape here. You know what? I think I'm going to have the arms at the sides, at its side. That's what we'll do. We'll just have them at the side. Because every time I keep breaking, like even if I have the arms kind of tucked in, but slightly breaking the, that's not bad, actually, if we have the arms kind of up in here. Something like that. That could be kind of cool. There. That's an interesting creature there. That feels kind of cool to me. Right up on the sides there.
It's one more thing. What if we took this head and brought it out here? Just a bit more. End up like that. Yeah, I like that. Balances it out more. Let's turn these back on. Let's move this guy over and just see. That kind of feels like the one to me. I like this one up here as well. I like the body position on this one is better. Let's combine the two. Let's do that. Just really quick. Let me shrink this one up. So if we combine the two, is what I like is that head down with the head up here calling out. Like that. I like that. And then letting this kind of turn towards us in 3/4 so that we get the legs kind of coming. I'm actually turning it. There. So we get the legs kind of here like this. And the other one here like this. Let's get that arm in there. Like that. There we go. Like that. I'll let these wings come back a little bit. Let's bring those secondaries way out and then bring them in connected in here. So you get, I like this shape. Right in there. That negative space, I like that cut in right there. And then on the other side, because he's turning in perspective, that wing is going to be out here. Out that way. There we go. I like this position a lot better of the back legs. That makes a lot more sense to me. More dynamic looking. All right. So what we're going to do is, I think we're going to take this one. Let's take this one and let's run with it. Right here. Yeah. Much better. Much more betterer. There we go. My little feathered friend. So we have found our silhouette, which I really like. So I'm gonna, let's go ahead and get this placed. Yeah, I like that. Well, once again, actually, hold on. Hold the horses. Yeah, that feels better to me. And I think we can do this too. Pull that in a little bit more. Because I like that negative space. So I'm going to pull that in, get that pose to be a little more dynamic. That feels pretty good. Why don't we roll with that? So now that we've got this figured out, let's go ahead and open up another document. Make a new document. I'm going to make that 18 or 24 by 18 horizontal. And I'm going to go ahead and take, let's go ahead and fill this. There we go. And let's come over here and grab that. Just put that right in there. All right, so this one, let's go ahead and save this. We're going to save this as flying creature silhouettes. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that up. This one, actually, you know what? This might work better as a vertical. So let's rotate this. So let's do image rotation 90 degrees. Let's take this layer and redo it here. Let's just get it laid out on our right about there. I like that positioning. Okay, so now that we've got that set, take a little bit of a break, and let's come back and we'll do the render next. Okay, so we just spent about 30 minutes coming up with our silhouette. I've got the silhouette transferred here. Since I've done it, I've noticed a couple things that I want to change. Remember, I was talking about having that keel for the muscles to attach to. I don't think I've really emphasized it enough here. I'm going to take this section right here and just kind of move it out a little bit. Just like that. Right about up like this. There we go. Let those wings be right in the middle. It's kind of the center of gravity. right there. And then let's bring this keel down in here like this. Muscle. That's where all that muscle is going to attach. All right. There we go. Get some spikes in there. We'll take that tail. So you can always change stuff even more. Let's take that tail, bring it right down in here. Boom. There we go. There, that feels better. Now let's go ahead and lighten that up. Add a layer on top, and let's get our pressure sensitivities back. Let's start drawing over the top of it. Maybe a little horn on the front. Cheekbone up here. There's a jaw coming down. There we go. There. You get that eye kind of up front. Let's try one other thing as we draw here. What if we put the eye in here, looking forward, a little bigger? There we go. There. A little flap of skin coming off right here. There we go. This is kind of like a little ridge plate, spiked kind of ridges along its back. There. There's the arms coming down. There's one there. Want to get right into there. This is all going to be muscle. This is all muscle attaching. Right here we'll have a little definition. Just like that. Here's our forearm again. Throw some feathers on top. Feathers that lead right into the wing. There we go. See, I love adding the detail to the silhouette. It's always a lot of fun getting into that. Let's get this back thigh figured out. Here's the thigh coming down. It's going to come right up into the knee. The calf muscle. To the ankle. Just like that. There we go. That feels pretty good like that. Then we have to break the silhouette. I didn't take the time to figure out the feet. There. Bring the other foot here. Claw coming out. Birds have those big pads on the bottoms of their feet. Get the other foot right there. Actually, no, let's not do that. I'm going to erase that back. There we go. Right in there. We redraw this back foot. There we go. Nice big robust feet. There, just like that. There. There we go. This one we'll just see the last toe will be hidden back there. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Just like that. Once again, we'll have some feathers. Along the sides. Lots of muscle definition coming into here. There we go. Do those primary and secondary coverts. Let that feed right into feathers. There's our wing. This is kind of a fun little dragon character based on real bird anatomy. Give him a few 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. We're going to give him a couple more primaries. There we go. It doesn't have to be exact. This is a made-up animal. There, that feels pretty good there. I'll just draw those feathers in there. There we go. There. Bingo. And we'll just get all of our feather shapes in there. So there we got our drawing. Just got a couple of more things to do. Want to get the hands. So 2 big fingers and a thumb is what I'm giving them. Just to be different. And feathers here. There. So there's a feather. Feather there, feather there. There. Not going to worry about it matching it perfectly. There, keeping it loose. So there's our drawing. Right here. So that feels pretty good. I'm liking that. I like how the wing fits in. I feel like we've got enough musculature, muscle attachment, all of that for the wings to attach to. Feels like something that could actually exist to a certain degree. Feels kind of fantastical at the same time. So I like that. So now, you know what? Man, what if it was fire breathing? You know, that could be really cool. Because then what we could do is I could, I know I'm always changing stuff on you guys, and I'm sorry, but this is how we work. This is how I work. But I do want to try an experiment real quick. I want to take this. Let's take the whole image and rotate it again back to the way we had it originally. And what if we take this and shrink it down? Right in here. And what if we did something that was like, out here, like so, like blowing fire. Then we'd have a really cool light source right here. Have a really cool light source right there.
and could use it to light it up. I don't know. Kind of, we've got a lot of empty space in there though too now. Lots of empty space. Well, as cool of an idea as I think it is, I want this to be the focus of the. I want this to be the focus on the creature. So let's put it back. Sorry to do that to you. Every once in a while, I got to experiment. I always try new stuff out, new things out, just to see if they'll work or not. Might be able to just do the fire here. Why not? Just let it go off the frame, right? Let me get rid of this one. What if we just did it? It's right off the frame. That could be kind of cool. Let's do that. So I'm going to knock this back even more. Okay, and I'm going to put a layer on top of it. All right, so I'm going to color this all in. And I'm just going to get the silhouette in, just the base, and then we'll mess with other color. There we go. So I'm just going to go in here and I'm going to get this silhouette all colored in, and then we'll just cross dissolve through this and we'll get to the next section. Okay, so now that I've got the silhouette laid in, I'm going to go ahead and lock it. So now we can start playing with color and try some variations in here. So I like the overall red. Well, let's go ahead and try doing some variations. What do we want to do along the top? Let's try more of a golden color. Then I'm going to put the pressure, the opacity pressure sensitivity on here. I'm going to do it with the airbrush. Get some of these feathers. There we go. Want some of these back feathers to kind of reflect that golden color. There we go. So I'm using the airbrush setting on the standard brushes in Photoshop, and I've just got the tip pressure sensitivity on. Now I'm going to turn it off. Go right back to the spines here. There we go.
Go back to the airbrush setting. Let's leave those primaries and secondaries red. I have all the secondary coverts. Let's have all that in gold. Change brushes again. Get these back feet. Right along the head. I want to darken that up. Get everything dark right there. Right around the eyes, I'm going to color that bright yellow. A lot of birds have this, a lot of birds of prey. There we go. Let's get some white teeth in here.
There we go.
Go a little darker on the eye. Like an orange. just like that. Here, let's go bright red. I love coming up with colors. I'll go a little bit. Let's do this. I want to go a little grayer and lighter on the primaries and secondaries underneath. Just up to the base. Do it here as well. Let's get this redone here. There we go. So now I'm going to grab our original dark color and go a little darker. Actually, no, I'm going to keep the same color. And what we're going to do is we're going to create little stripe designs on them. Let them just blend in with the original color. There we go. Just like a hawk's feather or an owl. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Get those aligned right up. There. Yeah, that feels good. That's going to look good. There we go. We'll just keep going and then we'll go on to the next one. Yeah. So just get a little bit of the tip of the feather and then the next stripe. Right down into there. All right. We'll even give these guys a little bit of markings. There we go. Oh, that's good. We're going to do the same thing here. So there's our feather markings. I like that. Let's go ahead and throw a background in there real quick. So let's make it kind of a hazy sky. Get that colored in there. Everything's really warm. There we go. It's all really, really warm, hot, hazy. There we go. We got some hot sun trying to push through some of this haze and smoke, dust. Let's go back to our bird here. Our bird. It's not our bird. To our dragon. Let's hit some of these feathers. There. So I'm going to do the same thing I just did. There we go. So we got the tail as well. Let's, I want to get into the feet a little bit. Let's get the bottoms of the feet, make them a little grayer. That's better. Just a little more gray in there. And I think I'm going to go really light on the claws. That's better. And let's just do a little bit of, let's see. I don't know if I want it to be violet or blue. Let's see what it's going to look like. I actually like this. Really pops off of this red and orange. Love playing with color. Color, color, color. There it is. So let's go ahead and add some shadow. So I'm going to create a clipping mask right on top. I'm going to hit Control, create clipping mask. I'm going to set that to multiply. And I want to do some pretty strong shadows here. Let's I want to do warm shadows. Well, on the warm side, but still grayed out, cool from what we've got here. And I think I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to do all of the wing in shadow. So it's going to cast a shadow right across the body here. It might be a little too dark. There we go. So we got all of this in shadow, this wing. This part of the coverts. Never say it right. All right, so that's all shadow right through here. But remember, a feather, light can pass through a feather, right? If you hold a feather up to the light, light can pass through it. Not perfectly, but it does. And so what you end up is on these, we're going to be able to see through the feather, like so. This will be in a little bit of shadow, but you get to see through the feather where they overlap each other. Okay, so here it's overlapping right here. And if you look at birds' wings in the sunlight, they do this. It looks like this. All right, we're going to keep doing it. So you see the full shape of the feather on top. Keep going. So you end up with something that looks like this. It's pretty cool. That's why I wanted to put this wing in shadow. And as you get further down, you get less and less light, on the end. There we go. There we go. So here you can see how the feathers overlap one another just by the way the light shines through them. Pretty darn cool. There we go. Let me knock this back a little bit. There we go. Bring that all the way back up. And put all of this in shadow. There we go, just like that. Here we're getting a little bit of light. We're going to let that light shine through. Actually, we'll just let it cast a shadow. Let it shine through on there. And here I'm just going to define the feathers with a little bit of shadow line. There. There we go. Okay, let's come back here. There we go. I'm going to put this whole foot in shadow. Let a little bit of light catch the top. We'll put the rest in shadow. There we go. Just like that. Let's get into the head. Big shadow being cast across the eye. There we go. Jaw. This is all in shadow down underneath. go. Get a little bit of shadow on the bottom parts of the ridge here along the back. There. What happens if we, I'm going to put a layer underneath here and just go super hot, bright. There we go. There we go. Get little dabs of color in here. There we go. Lighten up the side here. There. Now that's going to cause some secondary light effects to come back on our character here. First, I want to create another layer, another clipping mask layer, and I'm going to set that to overlay, and we're going to go kind of warm with it. And I want to just hit some areas, not too many, where we might get light hitting along the top of where our light source, our main light source, because the fire coming out of the mouth is going to be a light source. It'll be a secondary light source. I'm creating light coming from our main light source. And actually, I forgot to do our shadows down on the tail. I'll get back to that in a second. So along our spikes on the back, I want to hit those. And then I'm going to come in here into our shadow area and just initially start a little bit of the reflected light. Like this knee is going to catch a fair amount of secondary light. This arm is going to catch a lot of secondary light. Like so. Along the belly. All reflected light. There's light coming off the ground, you know, from the warmth of the mist below. Bounced light coming up from there. So you're going to get little bits of reflected light along the bottoms of our shadow areas, like I'm doing here. You'll get some bounced light under here. Right along under the jaw. Under that cheek. And we'll get some in the feathers. I'm just going to create feather texture. Just little dashes of lines. Now let's continue on top where our main light source is. That gets really bright. Look at that. There we go. Catching nice bits of light right along the top. So I'm putting a little light source along the top edge of the our little ridge on the back. So it's catching light along the top edge, along the little center lines. There, this is just laying in the initial light and shadow patterns. There we go. Let's get a little more light on the wing to give it a sense of like it's glowing a little bit with the backlight. There, that feels nice. Get this one edge of the feather. The other edge there, it's with more direct light. And it's going to switch sides.
There we go. There we go. Just create little light where the feathers are catching light. Little patterns here. I'm just going kind of loose, pretty loose with it. Do the same thing here. Right along the edge. Very quick. Keeping it loose. Let's jump back to our shadow layer. So I want to get those I want to get the shadows on the feathers down here. Now here we don't have the shadows. We don't have the light shining through because it's looking down. But the feathers can cast shadows on one another. There we go. There. So let's go ahead and I'm going to create a new layer right on top of everything. And I want to get a little bit of light from the fire being blown. I want to paint that right onto the right onto our creature. There, that gives it a little more dynamic feel. Just like that, yeah. There, I like that. Let's get a little, well, I'm going to keep it for there, right there for now.
That's pretty good. There we go. There. Put a little bit of color in this eye. There we go. There. So now I'm just going to jump around a little bit and just start hitting really bright areas that I want defined by the light, both above and by the fire. So I'm going to jump back and forth between the two. Right now I'm defining the light from the sun. So I'm trying to get nice bright areas along the back here. Defining where some of these feathers are, catching their edges. There, like that. And I want them to be somewhat shiny, so I'm going to go even brighter. I just got to work my way up to it. I want to hit these edges on those spines. Just kind of working my way back. There we go. You just work your way back. You think about your main light. Then you have to think about that reflected light. We'll jump back and forth between the two. I like to kind of gradually build everything up. So we start to build up the form. I'm working right over the top of the drawing. So we get rid of the dark lines. just like that. Now look at here. So I'm going to jump in here. I'm going to grab that color and that's in the shadow. I'm going to go a little brighter with it. And I'm going to, because I feel like this arm would catch a little more light. I'm just going to let it kind of round out. Same here on that muscle. There, just like that. There. I'm going to grab that again, maybe go just a touch brighter, and just hit the edge. And then work my way down this way. There. Same here. I want this to feel like this is catching some of the light in the atmosphere. Go back to our bright yellow light. I'm going to draw right along the edge of my wing that's in shadow. Right along the edge there. That feels good. Same thing on here. There. Let's get a nice bright sheen right off of those feathers. Just like that. There, that feels good. So now we'll come in here and really brighten up our edge. In the light area here. Let's do it in here. There we go. We'll just keep hitting highlights where they need to go. So we'll model it out, grabbing a little bit of color here. Going lighter on the blue, getting reflected light underneath. I just went a little warmer and a little brighter. So it's kind of a mixture of the yellow light coming together with the blue light. So you're going to end up with kind of this bright gray light reflecting off of the belly. It's easy to overdo it, which is I'm right on the verge of overdoing it. So you got to be careful. Now let's get back in here, get this brighter. It's all reflected light. There we go. They go right over those lines and work into the feather shapes. There we go. All right. We're getting there. We're getting close. For a sketch, we're getting pretty close. So let's get back up here. I want to go along this edge. Pick up some of that light off of the fire. There we go. Get nice and bright. Right now I'm going to go in and just now I'm going to hit highlights everywhere. Once again, the key is to not overdo your highlights. Be tasteful. Just hitting certain edges. Where there's a plane change. Just hitting a little bit of light underneath that cheekbone to get some form there. Let's take out that line. There we go. Get rid of some of these lines here. There, that feels pretty good. So let's go in. I want to create another clipping mask. Let's just create one there. I'm going to put it right there. I'm going to set that to multiply. And I want to go in and deepen some of these shadows. Just want to put some dark areas where we need them. Just go in a little darker in some of these shadows. I want to pop that leg out a little bit more. There we go. Get a little bit of darkness back here. Let's see if we can't get that arm to pop a little bit more. A little darkness in here, in that wing. I'll do it with the airbrush. There we go. Pull that back just a little bit. And here we're going to get really bright. Going back to the top layer, going to grab that hard round. Actually, I'm going to grab this one. We're going to come up, we're just going to create a little bit of like sheen coming off the feathers. Because feathers will do that. Just being a little bolder with the light here. Go back to the flames. There they are. I'm going to lock those into place. I'm going to just try messing around with it a little bit. Go back to our color, maybe go a little brighter. Let's unlock it. There. So let's go back to our hard round brush. Just create some nice, bright, reflected. Whoops. There we go. Yeah, let's get these nice and bright. Just hitting super bright highlights where they're reflecting back all the flame. right? So we're getting here. So that is getting nice and reflective. Let me hit some of the foot over here. So it's almost as if the flame is brighter than the sun, our main light source. As I'm creating this, I'm feeling like that's where I want it to go. Super bright rim light. There we go. Let's get into the tail a little bit, just to feel like we've neglected it a little. I hit some of the edges of these feathers. By and large, it's all right. Let's go into our brighter layer. We'll just hit, brighten up some of these a bit. There we go. Very cool. We're starting to get there. So now I'm going to grab some of this really bright light, and I've got a splatter brush I want to use. I got to search for it. Creates a nice texture. I'm going to put some texture underneath. There we go. Put some up on top again. Very cool. I'm going to go into our layer 2. Oh, is it this one? Yeah, so I'm turning off our silhouette. Turning that off completely. And I want to go back to our top layer. Just finish out, I want to hit, once again, I'm going back to some of the bright highlights from the sun. Go back to our brush. Let's see here. Let's do this one. So what I want to do now is just really play up the light. From the sun. Draw right over the top of the line work. That's what I'm basically wanting to get rid of. As much as possible, I want to get rid of that line work. There we go. That's better. Just going to get rid of some of the line work on the feathers back here. There. Now, there's one thing I can do here. I'm going to take, let's see here. I got to take this section. This section, put them all in a folder. If I turn those off, okay, good. So I'm going to copy that, turn off the one, and this one I'm going to merge the group. Okay, so I've got this group and another group underneath it. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy this. All right, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top group and I'm going to grab the body like so, take that top group and I'm going to get rid of it. So all I have are the wings, okay? And then I'm going to turn off this one, and on the bottom group I'm going to grab it just like so, and I'm going to get rid of the wings just like that. Okay, so now, oops, I got rid of too much. Let me redo that. Okay, so I'm going to take this and I'm going to grab basically this and get rid of that. Now let's see if okay, now I've replaced it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to our wing layer and I'm going to go into filters and blur and radial blur. And what I'm going to do is I got to estimate basically the center for those wings is right about here. The base of the base. I want the base center to be where they connect to the body. Right about here. I'm going to hit OK. And you can see it creates the illusion of flapping wings. Now that feels a little too much for me. I don't want it to be that much. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo it. And I'm going to do it again. And And I'm going to drop this down to 5. I'm going to hit OK. And that feels a little better. Let's see, let's do one more. Filter, blur, radial blur. Let's make that 3. Hit OK. That's better. That I like. That gives me enough motion in the wings without it feeling like, you know, it's too much. So that I like. But you can see I grabbed some of the spots. I had them on a different layer. So what I want to do is I'm going to grab my selection tool and get rid of those. So there we go. So that feels better there. So now let's go in, and I think we've basically got something I like here. Nice and simple. We can go in with a little bit of, let's go with a layer on top. And I'm going to grab some of that atmosphere color right about right there. And I'm going to grab my airbrush. And I'm going to knock the opacity way back. I'm going to put a little bit of atmosphere between the wingtips. Maybe a little bit of atmosphere in the tail. Just to set it in there a little better. And then right on top of all of that, let me grab my that's too big. There, just get a little texture over the top of. There we go, just to set them in there. That feels pretty cool. So I want to try one more thing. Let's get this and highlight the whole thing and group it all into one folder. So now we've got everything on one layer, as long as I merge that group. So you can see everything is on one layer now. And what I want to do is I want to just experiment a little bit with grabbing some really bright color here. I'm going to go to my airbrush and we're going to knock this way down and set this to color dodge. And I just want, first thing I want to try doing is just hitting around the face and getting it really, really hot. See there? It just got really, really hot around the face. Maybe even get a little glow inside the throat. See, I'm color dodging it, burning it all in. Get a little more light along the top. There. Now he's really spouting some fire, some hot, hot fire. We've got a really cool character based on our bird anatomy. And lizard, we kind of made our own thing. But I'm really happy with how this came out. And it's a lot of fun. You can see how fun it can be. And you just throw some logical, I'm going to hit a little bit of light along these edges too. I think it's really, really cool. So I hope you enjoyed that one. I certainly did. I'm going to hit right along here. Right along the arms. See there, you can just brighten them right up, reflecting back that incredible hot light coming off of the flames. There we go. So I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Why don't we go ahead and make another creature?